Welcome to the Direct Response Marketing Mastermind Group. This is Seth Greene, and this month we are here talking about how to add a large ticket area exclusive revenue stream to your business. Now, I wish I could take the credit for it, but I can't. This is inspired by Dan Kennedy's um, how to add a big ticket area exclusive revenue coaching stream product. So I highly suggest to get more information, you buy that. It's a great investment. So let's talk first about, let's back up a little bit. So if you are starting a company from scratch, you have about a 20% success rate. What that means is the statistic we've all heard for years is 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. If you buy someone else's company and you spend less than $250,000, you have a 50% success rate after 5 years. So much higher buying an existing business. Buying a franchise has a 92% success rate, and buying more than one franchise, a multiple franchise owner buying multiple locations, brings that success rate up to 97%, which is obviously why so many franchises get sold. But with all of those businesses that fail, why do they fail? One is personal. It's the wrong personality of the owner. Not everybody is cut out to be a business owner. I can speak from personal experience. The roller coaster swings of being an entrepreneur are not easy at all. Those of you who resemble that remark know who you are. Can be the highs are really high, but the lows are really low. It can be incredibly stressful, and not everybody's cut out for that. You also could have the wrong personality, as in you could not be a people person. And if your business has to interact with people, that could be a problem for you or a challenge. You could lack of capital. This is the one people assume is the most common reason that the business just doesn't have enough money to make it. You'd be surprised at how often that is not the case. It's not always just about the money. It can also be about the lack of marketing, not enough knowledge, because every business needs customers, and I think people forget that. They forget a lot of I read a ton of business magazines and trade journals every month. There's always articles. I read 3 magazines on my iPad every month. In addition to that, I read Hackerpreneur and Founder and Internet Marketing Magazine on my iPad. And they're always talking about if you build it, they will come. And this obviously we know, and how that is not true. But most people assume it to be true, that a good product will just sell itself. And that's just simply not the case. You've got to know how. You're not only a business owner, you own a marketing business that happens to sell your product or service. And you have to know how to market to get customers, to get sales, to stay in business. Inexperience is a big reason, not knowing enough. God, there's so much I wish I had learned, which I knew ahead of time. Wasn't taught in business school, didn't get it out of a book. You couldn't learn it. It'd be hard to learn it any other way. But I think I'm an adjunct professor at a local college, and I've teaching my third class now. This one will be purely direct response marketing. The other two were management, business management, and marketing. And I almost want to design a course that's everything I wish I had known. Um, Everything from how to manage cash flow and to the nuts and bolts of the business. And I may end up developing that as a class or a product at one point. Although I think if you're 22 and in undergrad, it's kind of hard. I could tell it to you and teach it to you. That doesn't mean once you go do it, you're going to remember it and or listen, because it's completely different in a classroom environment than it is when you're the one awake at 3 in the morning, fighting off stress and panic, trying to go to sleep, not knowing where payroll is coming from the next week. So, I mean, you can't teach that part in a classroom. I mean, you could. I don't know if it would work. But anyway, that's inexperience. Obviously, buying a franchise takes out the fourth. You no longer have to know enough. The franchise or the company you are buying from theoretically has figured all this out, has a proven system. All you have to do is follow the steps, paint by numbers, and you should be successful. Multi-unit franchising we alluded to. That was buying more than one location at once for a discount. So instead of buying one Subway, you could say, I want to buy 3 Subway locations, 3 sandwich shops in one shot for a cheaper average price. You don't necessarily have to write the check up front. Usually it's done over an 18 to 24 month period. There's no exclusive geographic territory, so Subway could sell another franchise relatively close to one of yours. Now, you could do area development franchising where you buy a territory and say, I want the rights to have every Subway in Buffalo. So no one else can open a Subway in Buffalo. I'm in charge of, I will open all Subways that will appear in this city. And obviously that gives you an advantage. You're not going to open them all at once, but you know that you won't have any other competition from your company. Now, a master franchise is when, let's say, you buy a whole state or a large metropolitan area, like I want all of New York City, or I buy the entire state of New York. That obviously would cost a whole lot more to buy the rights to be the only person who could open a Subway in all of New York State, because obviously there's hundreds, if not thousands, probably of Subways all across New York State. So, but the beauty of it is, if you are a master franchisor, you don't have to open the 500 locations across New York State. You then become the company and you sell Subway franchises to other people all over New York State, and you get paid the royalties on all their sales. So you, in essence, become a mini version of Subway Inc. in that state or large metropolitan area, which obviously, if you've got the resources, becomes very attractive. However, it costs a fortune to buy a large metropolitan area or an entire state. And this goes beyond like just selling sandwiches. No longer do you have to just be able to manage the teenagers who work there and make the sandwiches. And then magically, Subway runs a national ad campaign. You are in co-op dollars. You have a national brand. People just see your location and walk by, and you do some local advertising, and you're fine. So the people skills are more managing the teenagers, and if you actually work in the store, then talking to customers. However, if you are a master franchise owner, you then have to go out. The company doesn't sell the franchises for you. You have to go out and sell Subway franchises to other people who want to open a franchise. You have to find them and sell to them. Now, obviously, Subway would probably send you the leads they get of people calling in saying, hey, I'm in Syracuse and I want to open a Subway. And they say, oh, you got to talk to John. He owns the rights to all of New York State. But you are predominantly responsible for going out, getting people interested in buying a Subway, and then convincing them to do it. So you've got to sell them on a significant investment. So obviously, and then you've got to manage them. And obviously, when they have issues or want to learn something or have questions, they're going to call you. They're not going to call Subway Inc. So you are then in the franchise customer service department. So obviously, you got to have some serious people skills there. So if today we're talking about area exclusive, why am I spending all this time on franchising? I'm going to get there. Just stay with me. How do you make money with a franchise? Obviously, the sales of the physical product, you make money on that. If you are a franchisor or a master franchise owner or an area owner, then you get paid every time you sell someone a franchise. You get a royalty on all of their sales. And then let's say distribution income. Let's say if I'm in a hair salon, you put your branded products in the hair salon, they sell your products, and you get paid on that. So this is how a franchisor makes money. So Subway makes money when you buy the franchise. They make money every time you sell a sandwich. And if they had special, I mean, they have Fritos and Doritos is the chips that go with, in Lay's of your chips that go with the sandwich. But they could make their own Subway chips and make you sell Subway chips as the franchise, and they'd get paid on that too. So that's how a franchisor makes money. Now, the drawbacks to, so the franchise model has worked for many, 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 many years. People know what a franchise is. They know why they should buy one most of the time. It's relatively easy concept to explain, and they get it. And it's just a question of, do they want to work with you? Do they want to buy your company? Do they want to open a location of your company? Do they like your brand enough? Are they excited about it? So that's, why that's a franchise. So the downside to a franchise is the person buying it, there's little to no room for creativity. You're buying a system. You have to follow the system, or they can take your franchise away from you. So if you are creative and want to reinvent the wheel and want to implement your own ideas, franchise is probably not such a good fit for you. If, let's say, you were in the military and are used to following a very specific set of instructions or orders, or you are looking to follow a proven system, franchise might be great for you. The downside to creating a franchise and franchising your service, because I have a number of clients going through this, is primarily the legalities, in my own personal opinion. I'm not an expert on this, but there are an incredible amount of laws relating to franchises. And one of the things you have to have is you have to have the government approve your UFOC, what's called a Uniform Franchise Offering Circular. When someone requests information about your franchise, you have to send them your UFOC. Your UFOC is a binder, usually it's about 300 pages, written, every word written by your lawyers, about all of the pros and cons and drawbacks and positives of being a franchisee of your franchise and how it works. You literally have to spell out everything from the layout of the restaurant or store to where you're buying your toilet paper from. Are you allowed to go to Wegmans and buy toilet paper? Do you have to buy from the parent company? What percentage do they make on the toilet paper set? I mean, you have to spell out everything. That's why they're like 300 pages. You have to include results of every franchise that is open under your umbrella, contact information. A person has to be able to call, theoretically could call every Subway franchise. Well, with 14,000 stores, you're not gonna, but they have to have the ability to get the contact information for anyone who owns a Subway franchise that they could call and talk to and say, how do you like it? You also have to provide information, for example, on the Subway franchisors who've quit. So if I buy a Subway franchise and it doesn't work out for some reason, I screw it up, or I decide I don't like it and I sell back to the company, or I go bankrupt, that information has to be in the UFOC along with your contact. So the prospective franchisee has to be able to call everyone who's pissed at you and find out why. I mean, it's a lengthy. I would suggest requesting one. Like, go into Small Business Owners Opportunity Magazine, go to Wegmans, go to a grocery store, go to Barnes and Noble, grab a couple of like this Work at Home magazines, and just call up or go online and request information on a couple of franchises. And not that you're going to buy one, but just to see what they send you, and ask for a UFOC, because they may just send you some basic material first, and then you have to request the UFOC. Request it, and just look at the behemoth that comes in the mail and say, holy crap, do I want to spend a fortune paying lawyers to write this thing? And have I thought of all this? So that's like the downside, in my opinion. Obviously, there's other downsides, but the legality of it all is a big one to me. So the solution to that is what we're going to talk about today. The solution is an area exclusive marketing program, for lack of a better term. So I think the best way to explain it is it's a franchise without a franchise. So for example, Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, the company Dan Kennedy started, has its own area exclusive program. It's called the Independent Business Advisor Program. I can become a Glazer Kennedy certified, business advisor. And what that means is I write them a check up front, and then I make them payments every month. I get a website for my new IBA program and marketing materials saying that I am now certified as the Dan Kennedy style marketing business expert in the area. And I get to conduct a monthly meeting that I will obviously invite people to, business owners, sales professionals too, where I will teach some Dan Kennedy marketing content. And GKC provides that as part of my fee. I don't ever have to worry about what to teach each month. I don't have to come up with the PowerPoints. They send me, go present this. And then I also have the ability to offer a certified Dan Kennedy Mastermind group, as many as I want every month. And that content is provided. And I can charge people to come to my monthly regular meeting, and I get to keep all that money. I can charge people to come to my monthly mastermind group, more money, and I get to keep all that money. I can sell all of Dan Kennedy's books and products, and I get a commission on every single book or product, buying course like this one was inspired by, or anything that I sell. If I get any of my members to go to a Dan Kennedy event, I get a commission on all of the conference tickets, and I get to use Dan Kennedy and GKC's name and brand. I got business cards, I got brochures, I got free reports, I got videos, I got all sorts of stuff. So I get to become the mini Dan in my area. And that is their program. That's their area exclusive program. There's only one advisor per area. So I'm not competing with 10 other guys in Buffalo running around all trying to be the Dan Kennedy mini me in the area. And for that, I pay a significant chunk of money. Now, to be an IBA is honestly way cheaper than a franchise. I mean, Subway is a couple $100,000, McDonald's is a couple million. Arguably, McDonald's is killing people. It's not really helping people. Subway, arguably, has positioned themselves as health food. If you eat the right thing on the menu, you too could be Jared and lose 100 and something pounds. GKIC is obviously out to save small business and help you market better and get more customers and have a better life through Dan Kennedy marketing and business stuff. Excuse me, I'm going to stop to take drinks of water throughout this presentation. So it's much cheaper. I don't remember what the price is at the moment, but I think it's like less than 10 or 20 grand. It's not much. It's a relatively small investment. So that's their IBA program. So for example, this is a website for the Colorado chapter of Dan Kennedy. So he is an IBA. And you see he's using his GKIC Insider Circle right there. He's got his own name, Success Training Systems. He's got social media done for him by GKIC. He's got, register to our next meeting. He's got links to Infusionsoft, which obviously has a relationship with GKIC. He's got a store, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you get out of the business what you put into it. So, for example, it's not Subway where you open a location and theoretically people drive by and go, oh, there's a Subway, I'll go in and grab a sandwich. And they already know what it is. GKIC, typically they don't. So there are IBAs I have met over the years since they've invented this program who are incredibly successful, who their regular meeting has like 200 people in it. And then they might be running 3 different mastermind groups with 20 people each. And they are making 6 to 7 figures being an IBA off of a relatively small investment. That's a really good deal. It's a good ROI. But there are also IBAs who have flaked out, who aren't in the business anymore, who didn't do anything with it, and magically didn't have any customers. Now, the beauty of being an IBA is the marketing part is covered because you're buying an area exclusive program from Dan Kennedy. Like, you can't get marketing much better than that. But you have to actually implement it and do it. They give you sales letters to send and print ads to run in newspapers and stuff, but you actually have to do the work. So I've met guys who have been in it for a year or two and haven't made much money. And it's because they didn't do the work. So for example, this is the GKIC, one of the sales pages of things you can buy to go with your IBA chapter. So magically, you have to buy the bread and the lettuce and the tomatoes and the bacon from Subway. You can buy this stuff. So for example, I want to harness the full power of the internet for my local chapter without having to deal with it. So for example, internet, video, and audio. We'll give you a video and audio email system, online testimonial system, a mobile version of your chapter website, unlimited 800 numbers, unlimited media storage, and a free professional video with voiceover and music for $1,000 up front and $300 a month. This is in addition to whatever you've paid GKIC for your chapter. If you want the social media part done for you, to set up your Facebook pages and your local social media, your iTunes podcast, your YouTube channel, submit you to local directory searches, your blog, that's automatically done by the GKC team, all this stuff, $1,500 up front, $500 a month. So if you bought all this stuff, you could be spending another, let's see, 500, 800. You could easily be spending another $1,000 a month on all of this stuff to go along with the GKC chapter that you bought. So again, GKC is very smart and says, geez, you need all this stuff. We don't provide it. You should buy it. And of course, they're going to make money on that. I started my own area exclusive revenue program after getting this product to tell you about. Well, I'm telling you about it. I didn't create it just to talk about it. So I created what I called the CPAFP. This was the Certified Professional Athlete Financial Planner Program. So this was to certify financial advisors to work with professional athletes and give them the marketing system to get professional athletes as clients. So this was the first marketing piece I did, which was a lead generation postcard to see if you qualify to represent professional athletes. Go to professionalathletemarketing.com. This postcard went to thousands of advisors in your area. We can only accept one. Will it be you? See, if I sold the same program to 1,000 different advisors, I couldn't charge as much for it. But if I say there's 2,600 financial advisors in Buffalo, only one person is getting this, I can charge a whole lot more because of the scarcity. That's area exclusive, only one person per territory. Now in Los Angeles, you could presumably do more than one. In, let's say, the GKIC, there could be more than one GKIC guy in LA because there's not going to be one chapter that's going to cover all of LA. It's way too big. So there might be North LA, South LA. There might be 3 or 4 covering different areas in GKIC in LA. New York City might have a couple. I mean, there could be a Brooklyn, a Queens, a Manhattan, a Harlem, or whatever. There could be one for each borough. In this case, I worked by sports teams. So I only mailed to the advisors who were in cities with major league sports teams, and preferably with more than one. That was the back of the postcard. This was the front. Who else wants to get professional athletes as clients? Because of what I'm going to share with you, our members have brought in millions of dollars in new assets from NFL, NHL, and NBA, MLB clients. You can too. It's compliance approval guaranteed or your money back, because that was their fundamental number one objection was my compliance department won't let me do it. So I addressed that right off the bat. Proven marketing campaign that guarantees athletes and their agents will respond. Access to personal contact information of the athletes. I had social proof. I had a picture of Jim Kelly autographed to me, and then I had a picture of Adam Lingner, who played for the Bills, autographed to me, and then I have a picture of the free report, the lead generation report that the athletes got, and I had my graphic designer create the certified professional athlete financial planner seal that they got when they passed the test, which had looks like a ribbon, looks like a professional like association seal, because I was attempting to look like a real association. They had to read 3 books, not written by me, about working with professional athletes and their agent. We're working with professional athletes. Those books were all written by agents and folks in the industry who in the financial industry, serving, whether they were agents or money managers who were serving athletes. So I didn't write the books. They were 3 books that were like law school textbooks for agents about working with athletes. So they had to read those 3 books. They had to take a test on each book and pass it, which I created. I created the test. They had to pass the test. When they passed the 3rd test, they got their certification, which they could then put on their business card, et cetera, et cetera. They then got access to everything. So this was the how to overcome the 7 biggest mistakes agents make when referring their clients to a financial advisor. Because, Jim Kelly's agent, Tom Brady's agent, if he's not also a financial planner, is referring him to one. So I have to convince the agent they shouldn't be referring to a financial advisor they know personally. They shouldn't be referring to someone who doesn't have the seal, who isn't a CPAFP. So I had to convince the agent, I had to unseat the existing relationship he had with his financial advisor he was sending his clients to. And then I had to convince the athlete they should be working with a financial advisor that has our seal of approval. So we marketed to both all of the athletes on a team, and then we would market to all of the agents who represented those athletes at the same time. So if the athlete gets this and looks at it and then says, oh, well, my agent handles anything every way, I'm going to talk to him, and he goes to his agent and goes, what's up with this? And the agent's reading this at the exact same time. The agent's going, yeah, I've heard of those guys. That might, he might either say, no, we're fine, or he might say, you know what, they made some excellent points, I'm looking into it for you. And then the agent talks to our advisor, says, wow, okay, this makes some sense, I should give you guys a shot. And then the agent goes back to the athlete and goes, yeah, maybe you should talk to these guys. So we were hitting both of them at the same time because we knew the athletes 8 times out of 10 are going to default and say, oh, well, my agent takes care of everything, I would just ask him. So we had in this report, we told them, here are the questions to ask your agent, and here are the answers you should expect, that you should get. And if he gives you this, oh, he's my brother-in-law, oh, he's my friend, oh, he works for our company, that's a red flag. That shouldn't be the answer. And here's what you should say to him in response to that. So we were teaching the athlete how to sell the agent on why he wanted to deal with one of our advisors, and we were teaching the agent why he wanted to deal with one of our advisors in the first place. So they got that. They got the follow. They got a ton of other stuff. The cost for my area exclusive program was $18,000 a year. What they got, they had to read the book and pass the books and pass the exams to get their certification. They got the list of all the professional athletes in their city with their personal home contact information, home phone number, cell number, personal info. They got the list of the agents who represented all of their local athletes. They got a 3-step direct mail lead generation campaign to the agents, a 3-step direct mail campaign to the athletes. They got a free report for the agents and a follow-up direct mail campaign to go with it. They also got the free report to the athletes branded for them and a follow-up campaign to go with it. They got a monthly newsletter to send to their agents. They got a monthly newsletter to send to the athletes. The advisors themselves got a monthly newsletter about being in the business of serving professional athletes. And I did a monthly live webinar with the advisors to go over everything with them and to get all their questions answered and keep them on track. So that was my area exclusive coaching program in financial services. So how do you sell that? There's a couple different ways. You can, in the marketing that goes out, to sell them, to get them interested in the program, you can fully disclose what the thing is and what its price is. You can say, hey, this is a CPAFP program to get you athletes as clients. It's going to be $18,000. You can, typically, what happens to sell a program like this, I did not do what was typical. Typically, what people do is they make you have to put down 10% of the purchase price. So in my case, for $18,000, you would have put down $1,800 if you were an advisor to come to a 2-day workshop to learn about it. It's called a discovery day. Like in the franchise industry, you can't just buy a Subway. You have to go out to Subway headquarters for a couple days to see if you qualify, to see if it's right for you, to see if you want to do it. This is the same thing. So the first day is, here's what this is all about. Do you want to do it or not? And you either say no, in which case you're stuck there for an extra day doing nothing by yourself, sitting at the airport for 8 hours until your flight, or you can say, yes, I want to do it, and then the second day is training. It's instant gratification. You start the business right away. Sales method number 2, no disclosure of marketing the price. You market it as a seminar. They're coming to a seminar to learn stuff. You're not mentioning that you're selling an area exclusive coaching program. They think they're coming to a seminar, an educational seminar. And the first day, it's here's everything you can use to go do X. So here's all of the marketing materials. So if I had done this, my first day would have been, here's the free reports, here's the follow-up sequence, here's the lead generation sequence, here's the certification process, here's the whole deal. And then at the end, it would be, you can say no and go away and get inspired to go try and create this on your own. Or you can write me the $18,000 check, and tomorrow I'll give it all to you and we can get started right away. So that's sales method number 2. One is not neither better than the other. They're just different. So you can, the other way to run an area exclusive program is to charge them, quote unquote, nothing up front, but they have to make a deposit. So in this case, if I wanted to certify people to become a Facebook Ninja consultant, let's say that was the brand I was going to build, I could say it costs you nothing to become a Facebook Ninja consultant, but you need to buy 20 copies of the Facebook Ninja Home Study course at $2,500 a piece. So let's say that's, my math is going to be off, but let's say that's $50,000. You give me $50,000. I'll give you 20 of these courses. You go sell it. Let's say you paid me $2,500. You go sell it for $5,000. And you paid 50 grand to get it. You go sell them all. You get 100 grand in revenue. 50 grand covers what you paid me. The other 50 grand is your profit. So you could do it that way. They don't pay anything except they buy the product from you. This is almost like the multi-level marketing companies do it. Like go buy a garage full of Mary Kay lipstick, and when you sell it, you make money. And if you don't sell it, that's your fault. It's sitting in your garage. If you go sell 500 tubes of lipstick, you get your commission on all of them. You can sell the same area more than once if you split up the target market. So, for example, I could say John is certified to be the Facebook Ninja for doctors, and he's only allowed to sell Facebook Ninja to medical practices. And then Steve is the Facebook Ninja for lawyers. He's only allowed to go sell his services, the product, or any services to lawyers in the area. And obviously, never the twain shall meet, and you can sell the same area more than once by splitting up the target market, generating more revenue for you. This is legal language. I'm saying you should obviously have your own lawyer if you're doing this stuff. But for example, clients need to recognize the possibility of more than one client offering a program. Marketing company discourages clients from deliberately competing with other clients. Marketing companies assessing fees and limits the number of franchise area exclusive people, and were held harmless for infringement. So if the lawyer guy, one of his lawyers refers him to a doctor and he goes and sells the doctor, technically he's infringing on the doctor guy, and you can't sue us for that. Just kind of ideas. Geographic boundaries. We talked about, you can, rather than making a geographic boundary, you can make a niche boundary. You can only sell to financial advisors. You can only sell to golf professionals. You can only sell to country clubs, whatever it is. You could take out the exclusivity and say, we've only got 500 of these for the entire country. Whoever gets them, gets them. And then it's just a limited number of systems that you're going to sell, but you're not responsible for monitoring who gets it and where they are. So there could be 7 guys in Buffalo running around doing it. That's not your fault, but it just so happened that 7 guys in Buffalo all bought it. So again, there are ways to finesse this depending on what you want to do and how much business you want to generate and what the demand is. I mean, if you don't have a whole bunch of people fighting it out, wanting this thing, it's not going to matter. You can sell, 1 or 2 and be, or in an area and be done. But if I had 20 advisors in Buffalo who all wanted something, I'd have to split it up into different ways if I wanted to sell them all. If I didn't and just wanted to give it to one guy, like for example, for the CPAFP program in LA, which has tons of sports teams, I could say one guy gets baseball, one guy gets football, one guy gets one guy gets hockey. They have multiple basketball teams, I think. So that shows what I know about sports. So maybe one guy gets the Lakers and one guy gets are the Clippers still in LA? Are they? I don't know. So you could divide. I could have divided it by sport, by team, etc. Because again, think about it. If there's 80 guys on a professional football team, the advisor's not going to get all 80. But I mean, if he gets 10 or 15 of those guys and they all invest $1 million or 2 with him, I mean, that 20 or 30 million, and of course they're getting paid highly every year, that could be enough for him for the rest of his career. He may not need 3 other sports teams to make enough money to be happy. So when is area exclusive, not exclusive? If you're going to tell them they're not the only one, how do you do that? So for example, Dan's done a lot of work in the diet industry, like for Weight Watchers and companies like that, and Nutrisystem or whatever. And one of the things he learned is that showing the food is more important than the before and after pictures. So the before and after pictures are great. Here's Susie at 300 pounds. Here's Susie at 120 pounds. Don't look, you could be Susie too. And obviously you need that for proof, but he discovered it's a lot more important to show the food that you can eat, because that is apparently people's number one concern about going on a diet. What am I going to be able to eat? Am I going to stuck eating carrots all day? Or rabbit food? Or does the prepackaged food taste like cardboard? So you've got to show pictures of delicious food, because even though they should want to give up all the crap to lose weight, they don't want to. They care, even though it shouldn't matter what you eat. It shouldn't matter what the diet program is. They should want to do it for their own health. And it shouldn't matter what food they get. it does matter a lot, and everybody cares about what food they get to eat. So if you're going to share with them, hey, this is super exciting, and here's what you get, and then they buy it, and there's something else, you have to be very careful because you don't want to get accused of bait and switch. So you've got to make sure that it's explained carefully what does exclusive mean. If you're actually doing it as an area exclusive and it's one person per territory or one person per niche, you're probably fine. You're not going to have too many issues. If you did the whole calling it area exclusive, but we've only got 500 and whoever gets it, gets it, and if 7 guys in Buffalo buy it, you're just out of luck. If you're upfront about that, then you're fine. You just can't hide it. You've got to be very transparent. One of the things that can add free revenue stream to your area exclusive revenue stream is to allow them to lock out their competition. So it says you can buy it, and if you pay an extra dollar amount, you can write down, let's say, 3 people that cannot have it. So you can veto your competitors. So everybody in every business has some competitors that they hate, that they just can't stand. Damn it, that bastard lies. I clean up his messes when his clients come to me. I can't stand the way he operates. I do so much a better job. And if you give them the chance to say, I want to make sure that Eric doesn't get this, and I'm willing to pay extra to prevent that bastard from getting it, they will. And it doesn't cost you anymore. You just agree not to sell it to Eric. And if Eric wasn't there at the event anyway, it's free money to you. It's funny. I had a client who bought he's in the medical profession, and bought one of our marketing systems, hired us to build some marketing for him, and then didn't use it. And he said, I'm buying this, but I'm not going to use it right now. I'm not ready. I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have more practitioners. I can't use it right now. I just know that these 2 other guys in the same field down, within that I know have talked to you, and they're also interested. I'm buying it so that you don't sell it to them. And I may sit on this thing for a year before I'm ready, but I want to make sure it doesn't get sold to them. Because if one of them buys it and a year from now I'm ready to add more patients to that part of my practice, I know I don't stand a chance because I'll be competing against you doing the marketing for one of my competitors, and I don't want to compete against you. So I will buy it and not use it just so no one else gets it. This was the first time this ever happened to me. I was literally had to keep my jaw from dropping. I was like, so you're going to pay me not to work for at least a year, and then you might use it. You're not promising you'll be ready by then, but you want to make sure you're buying it as insurance that I don't market someone else who does what you do. And he said, yes. And I said, okay, sign here. I'll take that check. And you know what? Come to think of it, he's never used it. He switched a year later and said, I want to use it to market a different area of my practice, which we did. But the original thing he bought it for that first year, he never used it for. And now he's doing a different area of his practice, so it wouldn't matter if one of the other guys had bought it, because they're not competing on the same practice area. But he, in essence, paid in a year for insurance that I wouldn't market for someone else in the same area. Now, obviously, he's got to really believe how good you are and be afraid of trying to compete against it. So you've got to, he had to A, be convinced and know these guys are really good. And then B, he had to know personally other people who did what he did, who were interested in, who had not only talked to me about hiring us, but had talked to him about hiring us. So he knew they were serious. So I don't know how you create, I could probably create that perfect storm on purpose. I could pick a profession, pick a specialty, get a list of people, market to all of them at the same time, tell them, here's the list of people I am selling this to. Only one person gets it. First come, first serve. Even if you're not ready to use this, you should buy it so that no one else gets it. I could do that on purpose. I'm going to work on that. See, teacher learns more than the student. So anyway, that's about vetoing top competitors. Even if they don't do it, they will start making an internal list of if they could lock someone out, if they were going to buy your thing, who would they want to lock out? And it's really hard to fight that. It's funny. There's a great Larry King story. Larry King, CNN anchor, um, news show, owl looking glasses, suspenders. You all know who Larry King is. And when he started out, he was an anchor for local TV news in Miami. And they get a request, hey, will you MC? There's this Italian American of the Year banquet this organization is doing. Will you be the MC? He says, sure, no problem. He goes out and he meets the guy who reached out to him, and he says, listen, there's no such thing as the mafia. But if there were such a thing as the mafia, there might be a lot of guys who belong to that group that doesn't exist in this room. That might be what this banquet is for. We're going to keep the lights really low because even though there's no such thing as the mafia, there might be a bunch of FBI guys here, recording things and taking notes. So, and observing everyone who's coming and going, and they might take a picture of your license plate. So we're going to keep the lights low so that they don't necessarily all notice each other, because we don't want a fight to break. We don't want anything shooting to break out. He said, listen, not that there's no such thing as the mafia, but if there were, please don't make any mafia jokes. Just keep your humor, and any if you're going to tell any jokes not related to that, just not related to that or being Italian or the FBI. But I'm sure you're going to do a great job. So Larry's obviously very nervous right now, but he does his MC thing. It goes well. Everything's fine. The night passes without incident. It's over. The guy's walking him out, and he says, I really appreciate you coming out to do this, Mr. King. I owe you a favor. I know you did it as a public service. I know you didn't charge us anything for it. I really appreciate that. We owe you one. And Larry says, no, you don't owe me anything. He says, no, we owe you something. We owe you a favor. And you let us know what you need. And Larry says, no, please don't. I don't need anything. You don't owe me anything. The guy goes, no, you don't understand. We owe you a favor. And we don't like owing people favors. So let me ask you something. You got anybody you want whacked? And Larry says, in telling this story, he says, listen, no matter how moral a person you are, no matter how religious you are, when somebody asks you that question, who actually will carry it out, you start making a list of the people that you think you might want whacked. Now, obviously, he didn't tell him, and he didn't have anybody killed, but he's like, if somebody makes you an offer who can actually do it, you start thinking about who you would want. He said, I consider myself this moral Christian, and I go to church every Sunday, and I read the Bible. But he asked me, I started making a list in my head of the people I might want. So it's the same thing. You tell them you could veto your top competitors. That guy who drives you crazy down the street, or the stupid commercial guy. If I was selling to car dealers, I would first in this area. The first thing I would do would be like, you could veto me selling this to Billy Fusillo. And I guarantee you they would jump on it. They'd be like, oh my God, thank God I don't want huge guy getting this marketing system. That's all I need is him doing some more. If I was selling to lawyers, I would, let's say personal injury lawyers, I'd say veto Matar, Insulino, and Barnes, right? Because the last thing you want is those guys getting more cases. You're thinking about it right now. You can't avoid it. Okay. So this was Scott Tucker's. Scott Tucker used to be the king of the subprime mortgage refinance to pay off credit card debt back when you could get a subprime mortgage. And he had a coaching. Not only did he do that himself, he's a mortgage broker. That was his practice, subprime refis. He had a multi-million-dollar coaching program, coaching other mortgage brokers on how to do the same thing. So, marketing things he did. He sent his free report in a FedEx envelope to mortgage brokers. He wrote check enclosed on the outside of the FedEx box and had copies of the checks off of the loans, his commission checks from the loans he wrote. So it wasn't a check to the broker. It was him showing these are all the money I'm making. He did a handwritten letter with Sharpie doodles as opposed to copy doodles, the software we use because it wasn't around back then, for testimonials. He he had photos of everything. He had photos of his bank statements, photos of his 1099s, photos of checks. He went to Office Depot, and the stamps that you use to like stamp the date or classified or past due on things. He had a giant one made that said proof in red ink, and he would stamp proof across all the testimonials. So he had proof of what his program was doing for himself and for other mortgage brokers to get them to sign up, which is a really good idea no matter what you're marketing. If you can prove it, an abundance of proof will always help you. He had a FedEx envelope in the FedEx envelope with his address stamped on it, prepaid, so that they could FedEx back their application because it was that important that it rushed back. He sent them a postcard in the mail once or twice a week, following up with them. He would fax the mortgage brokers back when broadcast fax was legal. Now it's email. He did a fake tabloid magazine cover of like the Inquirer with him on it, and a fake article about him in it. So it gives whole new meaning to the word magazine advertorial. Let's see, he had an envelope that said top secret on it, which obviously is personality and copy. An interesting thing I learned from the area exclusive product was it's easier to sell them the greener pastures pitch than it is to improve the business they're already in. So everyone thinks that somebody else's business is better than theirs. So rather than improve the business they're already in, they'd rather get in another business. So for example, there are a number of real estate investing gurus who have specifically branded themselves to, let's say, the medical profession. There are people who just coach real estate investing for dentists. There's one who just does real estate investing for chiropractors. There's one who just does real estate investing for MDs. Because as much as the chiropractor may love helping the body heal itself by adjusting people, he's still frustrated in his own business. There's stuff that drives him crazy. There's stuff that pisses him off. He doesn't get the respect of a quote-unquote real doctor MD, so he's pissed off. So when you talk to him about passive cash flow every month from real estate properties without being a landlord, he thinks that sounds better than the business he's really in. So this is why so many doctors, dentists, and chiropractors buy real estate stuff, because it looks better than the business they're in, no matter how good their business is. So it's easier to sell them the pastures are really greener over here than it is to sell them something that will improve their chiropractic business. So in this case, you've got to show how it complements the real business, the business they're already in, not just how other people are doing it. The hurdles you kind of got to get over. The sales you sort of have to make. You have to make that the thing itself is real, that it's actually working, that the Play Golf Like the Pros program is reducing handicaps by an average of 33% or whatever it is, Gary. So they've got to believe that that's true, that it's actually happening. Then they have to buy you. In this case, they have to buy in to Gary, that he is the one who can do this. They have to trust Gary. They have to get past the, okay, that works for Gary. Of course, Gary can help his students like that, but it's not going to work for me, or it's not going to work in my city. It's not going to work in my country club. So you've got to overcome the hurdles that's great. You've got 27 testimonials, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So whatever condition they're in, whatever location they're in, you've got to convince them that it'll work, even despite whatever they think is wrong with their city, their business, their boss, their branch manager, whatever it is. Their customers. You have to attack the reasons that it won't work or they won't buy. Can they personally do it? Can they implement? Can the chiropractor? Can I look at 50 deals a month to pick one? In real estate, can I actually raise the capital, write the check, go to the closing, negotiate the deal, negotiate with the mortgage broker and the realtor and the lawyer? Can I coordinate all these people to get the house done? Can I coordinate with a management company to rent it out every month so I don't have to touch it? Can I collect the check, pay the bills? Do I have time? Can they personally do it? You have to convince them that you provide the training and the materials and the skills are in fact learnable and they themselves can learn it. People always doubt themselves. Then there's the not just, okay, you've convinced me I can do it, but will I do it? I mean, Dan jokes that the reason why exercise equipment is made with the handles pointing up is to serve as a clothes rack for the dirty laundry once people stop exercising. So they have to believe not only can they learn how to do it, but that they actually will follow through. Because people know their own limitations, and people know that they might screw it up and not implement. So you have to convince them that they'll actually do it. Um, the copywriting formula I've learned from Dan obviously is problem, agitate, solve. Make them aware of the problem, make them pissed off about it, and then show them how you're going to solve it. If you make it a formula, it's easier to solve. And then, of course, the other thing they're skeptical about is how quick will it be? People always ask us in our marketing, well, how fast is it going to be before I start seeing results? And depending on the program that we're offering to them, it might be 30 days, it might be 90 days. So they have to know one of the biggest things I've been struggling with in my own business and things I've learned, and please don't make the mistakes I've made, is one of the things is that we as market domination, have to do a better job. The keys to customer satisfaction and customer retention, I'm learning, are not just delivering results. Obviously, you've got to do that, but that's not all of it, which really surprised me. Setting their expectations correctly, and then setting their also not only for performance, but for communication. I have had a number of issues recently where we thought everything was great. We were getting ready to launch a client and say, hey, we're ready to go. We're excited. And they came in going, we want to cancel. We want our money back. And I said, what the heck are you talking about? Everything's fabulous. We're launching today. We're going to start making you money. Everything's good. And they'd be like, well, we didn't know that. You were communicating great during the sales process, and then we feel like you disappeared. And I said, okay, I've got all these email chains going back and forth. We scheduled your interviews. We did the video shoot. We've been sending you parts of the website as we built them to show it to you. I'm a little confused. I have emails from you saying that you're happy, saying that you like the direction we're going in, but somehow you're still not happy. How did that happen? And it was all about miscommunication. Our miscommunication of how we're going to communicate with you, because I thought we were going to communicate with them mostly via email. Turns out email, not the preferred method of communication, which I didn't know. Some of it is them not remembering everything they said and approved. Because when you decide to get upset about something, you don't necessarily always go back and look through your file and say, should I be upset about this? Let me look first. You just go off to the races. So please, if you can learn from one of my mistakes, and I apologize if we've done this with you, if we have not set your expectations appropriately, or if we haven't communicated with you the way you want or as frequently as you want, please let me know. I'm working on that as a whole for every single one of our clients, but if you have a specific issue, please let me know so we can fix it before you're upset about it or before you're more upset. So the motivators, why people buy large ticket area exclusive programs. They're afraid of something. You just have to expand on it, whether it's something in their own business or something personal. They have a fear. You've got to just find it and expand on it. A magic pill. They want a magic pill that will solve something. There are things about their business or their competition that they hate that they wish they could get rid of. You can sell based on prestige. They will be one of the exclusive few who get to own this thing. Like, for example, GKIC's IBA program, there's X number of IBAs, and I think there's an IBA, I think there may be like a monthly webinar or conference call, but there's also a physical IBA meeting. I don't know how often they are now. At one point, they were every quarter. All the IBAs flew in and got like 2 days with Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer before he retired, just masterminding, brainstorming, and working on their business. Which I know people who bought just for that. They bought just to get to be in a room with Dan and Bill with not 500 people in a room, with just, let's say, those 30 guys. They bought just to get those 2 days in a room with Dan and Bill because they would get the chance to ask Dan and Bill other questions about their other business. And they viewed it as a cheap way to get consulting. So there's that. Redemption, revenge, overcoming humiliation. You can buy a business. People buy businesses to sell them as an asset to flip. They might be bored, and this is exciting and new. Territorial turf. They can defend their turf against those bastards who are encroaching on it. We can take them from disorder, the way they feel their business is now to our new business that has order. I have a sign in my office, and I've given it to a couple of my fabulous team members to hang over their desks. And on the left, it says order in large letters and then chaos underneath in small letters. To the right, it says chaos in big letters in order in small letters. So order big, chaos small is how I'd like it to be. A lot of the times, chaos big, order small is how it actually is. And I have a line under it that says everything is okay even when it's not. So if someone had a program that they wanted to sell to me about how I could eliminate the chaos in my business, like I'm working every day on stuff on making it more professional, and because I've been flying by the seat of my pants for the last 7 years, making this stuff up as I go. But if someone tried to sell me a system for how to have more order, less chaos, more professional, more organizational, less stress, I would buy that in a heartbeat. That's just me. So copywriting, things that sell this type of opportunity, before and after pictures, not pictures of, it's not weight loss, but here's what my Joe's business looked like before he bought this system. Here's what it looks like now. He was a local co at a country club, struggling to make ends meet, barely making, I don't know, $30,000-$40,000 a year, and frustrated with his students and frustrated with his life. And now he implemented the Play Like the Pros program, and now he has passive revenue. His students are improving significantly. They love him. He loves them, and he's making 70 grand a year or whatever. That you really understand me. They need to feel understood if they're going to buy something like this. It's not just the features or the benefits, it's the benefits of the benefits, the lifestyle changes that will happen to them by buying your area exclusive program. The freedom, the mobility. Oh, I'm not stuck in Buffalo anymore, wherever it is, because I have this new business that is generating revenue, so I can do whatever I want. Everyone's going to be amazed by how much my business and my life changes when I buy this thing, and then they're all going to envy me. If he can do it, I can do it. So you've got to appear human so that they don't think, oh, well, that's good for Seth, but he's the guru, but I can't do that. You're selling a magic pill and or a miracle, but you've got to be careful how you phrase it, because if they think it's going to turn everything around overnight, you're going to have refunds. And the certainty that this will work. These are some additional copywriting ideas. I was once like you, ... and then fill in the blanks. I hesitated. I made a mistake. Because I hesitated, I didn't take advantage of this when it was presented to me. But now, here's what I've done, and here's what my life is like, and you can be too. Think about it like a ground floor opportunity. You know, when Ray Kroc first started selling McDonald's franchises, you know, everyone was skeptical. Hey, I can make a burger. There's burger joints in my town. What do I need to open a burger joint for? But if you position it like, hey, those who bought in early, you know, made a fortune, this is your chance, that can work. You need proof, whether it's pictures or bank statements or testimonials, you need proof. If you can give it away for free and make the cost go away. Now, obviously, I don't want you to give it for free. It's a positioning thing. Like, all you have to do is sell 10 and it makes all your money back. For example, I did a consultation for a woman last night who they do live events. And the average revenue, the ticket itself, you just have to put down like $100 deposit if you don't show. So if you don't show up, they charge you the $100. So I think the event itself is free, but their average revenue per head, the average person who comes to an event spends at least $5 grand with them, which is pretty good. So they're converting really well. So I said, if the average person spends $5,000 in order to get, let's say my marketing system that you want, the one that's appropriate for you is $10,000 a month. You technically need I need to put 2 more people in the room at each event to cover your costs for me. That breaks you even. I mean, obviously it doesn't cover your profit margin. But so if I did 3 if I just give you 3 more people in the room, you're profitable. And obviously you want a whole lot more than 3, but all I need to get you is 3. Does that seem reasonable, you know, and doable to you? Or do you think we can deliver you at least 3 more people? Of course you can. All right, well then it's a no-brainer. So then in that essence, it's free. We put after the first couple people, it's all gravy, right? Yeah, okay, so let's do it. What is being sold? They have to know what they're getting. Are they getting coaching? Are they getting a system in a box? Are they getting advertising and marketing systems, a website? Are they getting services? Are they getting access to your vendors? That is now a very popular bonus in info products. If you're teaching people how to do something, like for example, Mike Koenig's does this a lot, where part of what you get is you get access to all of the software providers that he's using if he didn't build the software, because they sell a lot of software programs. So, for example, we have a Get Rich in Real Estate client who is part of what you get is her Rolodex, her $1 million Rolodex. You get her mortgage broker, you get her system for getting finding a good inspector. You get her system for contractors and painters and electricians and roofers and all these people. So you don't have to do the legwork of finding all these people. She's got a system for doing it in your area, or if you're in the same area as she is, you can just use her people. Access to behind the door vendors. So how do you sell it? What are the business structures for this? You can sell it like a traditional franchise, where they pay a fee, a royalty on sales, and then money that goes towards the ad co-op dollars every month for the national advertising. You can sell it as a license, where they pay you a fee up front and then a fee per month. You can sell it as a services, again, fee plus continuity. A business opportunity, fee or deposit plus continuity, or as coaching plus add-ons, which is again upfront fee plus continuity. It's all how you want to structure it and how you want to get paid. You can position it as coaching plus, as a business opportunity, as a license to use your stuff, as a fee for specific services that they're reselling. Again, it's all up to you. We again talked about how you make the switch if you're switching. If you are selling, you're the only golf pro in your city that's going to get this, then there's no issues. If you're going to be selling the same area more than once, you've got to disclose that and make it palatable to them. Like, so you're the only sales trainer, the Bill Kanoki certified outlaw sales trainer. You can sell my system in financial services. So you can go to all the stock brokerages and insurance companies and sell them my system. And John can go sell my system to all the realtors. So he can only go to all the real estate agents in his area and sell my system. He can't go sell to financial advisors, but he can own the real estate market with my system, and there's plenty of realtors to go around, and there's plenty of financial advisors to go around, so neither of those guys should be upset about that. Again, we talked about whether you disclose what you're selling and what the price is or not. We talked about, do you want to sell one area at a time? What if someone wants to buy up multiple areas, like a master franchisor, and then they go to work for you, selling your system to other people? Host parasite, that would be, so if I was the head of, I don't know, the PGA, and I am the host, Gary in this example is the parasite, I then send out an email and a direct mail campaign to my entire list saying, hey, PGA professionals, Gary's got something really great I think you should look at. And I drive them to go Gary's Discovery Day or Gary's webinar or whatever it is. And then PGA, if allowed, gets paid on every sale that they made on behalf of Gary. I just did this. So last year, I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, we did a presentation about Sally Hogshead's Fascinate marketing system based on my buying and working with that system. And I had the great fortune to just do some work with Sally. So first she emailed her list and drove them to a website to get a free copy of my book, The Facebook Ninja, free plus shipping. We had a bunch of people buy that, and then there were upsells after that. Then she mailed her list again to drive them to attend a live webinar where she interviewed me about the Facebook Ninja, and we had like 146 people register for the webinar to hear her interview me, and then of course we made them offers after that. So she's the host, it's her list. I'm the parasite making money off of her list, but paying her for the privilege. Biggest mistakes made in selling area exclusive large ticket programs. There aren't enough steps in the campaign that sells it. We see that a lot. They think they can sell it with just a postcard, driving to a website, and that's it. which doesn't work. I did not get a whole bunch of people coughing up $18,000 off of just a postcard. There's not enough time before, sorry about that, there's not enough time before the discovery day or before the webinar or whatever it is. The package that is mailed to them when they request information, if that's what you're doing, isn't elaborate enough. You can't just send, I wouldn't just send a regular sales, 6-page sales letter and that would be it. I would have a much bigger amount of stuff to make the sale. You should get as many hosts promoting you as you can, if at all possible. Not enough lead flow. Again, I don't know how many it's going to take, how many people are going to raise their hands and say they're interested to get you one buyer. So you've got to figure out, obviously, after you test it, how many leads do I need to generate a buyer? So I need to be generating lots and lots and lots of leads. You don't want to waste time improving. You could spend all your time making the deliverables that you give them perfect and then never deliver it to anybody because you're spending too much time making it perfect. So it has to be good enough to work and get them results, but you need to spend more time once you've got marketing the thing than you do perfecting it. And if you have someone who buys it who is a troublemaker, Dan would always say, shoot the troublemakers early, refund their money if you have to, just to get them out of your life and out of your system so that they're not toxic to you or anybody else. So that is what I've got. Highlights from the Dan Kennedy area exclusive big ticket coaching revenue product. So I hope that gets your brain spinning. Normally, again, we missed Friday because of the snow and I was stuck in my driveway and a whole lot of people were unable to get there. So this is the presentation I would have given you, and we would have spent the next hour or two doing hot seats, going around the room, working on folks, giving them so instead of that, because obviously you're not all here and we didn't do it in person, if you will comment below, ask questions below, I'd be happy to answer them and we'll sort of do it that way. So I hope you get a lot out of this. Hope you create. Can't wait to hear your success stories of your area exclusive revenue program, and we'll see you next month.